the fans will not lose their love of Joe Flacco, even if he comes in and isn't good this year, because of what he did a couple of years ago. I mean, that was fun. There's no question that was fun. But I would think the minute that he looks like he has looked for the majority of his time since he left Baltimore, if he starts to play that way here, man, fans are going to be screaming for Shedeur. They're going to be screaming for Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, anybody to come in and do something different. I just think that's why, in my estimation, Rodney, I think he's got 2 or 3 games. And if he hasn't played real well and Pickett or one of the young guys is looking good in practice, I just don't get the feel that this is a long-term situation.
I agree with you, Jeff. I agree.
Yeah,
man.
I think it makes sense to think it's not a long-term situation.
Thanks,
but we're also an organization that hasn't had long-term success in my lifetime.
Right.
And I shouldn't even say my lifetime. I'll even give you the beginning of my life. But from '99 on, it's just so. If God forbid you got 2 good years of a quarterback that could get you to the playoffs in back-to-back years, I'm not saying that Joe's going to do that. But I'll roll the dice on him to start the season to see if he can do it. I'm giving him every opportunity to do that. And when we all see that it's not working, then move forward. There are a couple things here. I don't want to feel like they walked away from the draft wasting 2 draft picks. So develop them. Let's see what these guys look like. I don't know. Maybe Sanders is the future. Maybe Gabriel is the future. Maybe Pickett is the future, as Jeff would always wants to remind us, because Pickett's just not that old. But I want to see what Flacco's got right now, and I also want to see what he does with Kevin after having an entire training camp, having the ability to be around each other for more than 5 minutes when he was sitting on a couch and came in, because there was some magic that happened when he first came here. I don't know that magic's coming back, but I'm willing to watch and see what happens, because I don't feel like we have a starting quarterback. And if Flacco can be the man week 1 and beat Cincinnati, we're all going to be happy, and we're all going to say, okay, let's see what he does in week 2.
If you're the Browns, how long do you give Flacco, folks? I mean, does he have to go out and play great right away? And if they would lose football games, make sure he's not the reason they're losing? Because I think you've got guys sitting right there who are ready to jump in and play. And if you're not getting it done, man, I want to see the young guys. I really do. And we're talking about not just necessarily what's going to happen at the start of the season, but how this is going to play out. And it's a weird balance to me, Andy, because you want to win football games. If you suddenly aren't winning football games early on with Joe Flacco, if that happens, how quick do the Browns pull the plug? And how ready might one of the young guys be to play? Pickett would obviously be the guy who'd be the most ready to play because he's actually played. But might the other guys be more intriguing to the Browns to play and get a look at? I just think we're embarking on a situation that's going to be so fluid this year, it's going to be silly.
Do you think, I hate to say this, if Pickett's hurt, does Tyler Huntley have a place on this team?
Yeah, I think he might.
I think they like him. They truly like him. I think they were excited to have him. I mean, there was talk that if he was here for more than 2 or 3 days, he would have started preseason game number 1 over Shedeur Sanders.
I'm sure he would have,
I'm sure that's got to drive Shedeur Sanders fans crazy thinking about that. But I just say ride Joe until it doesn't work anymore, and then figure out where you're going. I just don't, especially when you're sitting on 2 number 1 picks for next year. If you feel like Joe Flacco gives you the best opportunity to win, then go for it and do it right away, and then ride it as long as it lasts. And I think it either ends up with Joe, unfortunately, maybe having to find himself on the IR, or Joe retiring. Unless Joe wants to keep playing, and then maybe he's
going to another team.
Yeah, I just don't. There is no franchise quarterback on this team right now.
At this moment.
Yeah, now maybe one of the 2 rookies emerges to be one, and that'd be great. And that would mean they didn't waste 2 draft picks in general, not first round, 2 draft picks in general, and I think that's something that I think we would all appreciate. But as of right now, if I'm Kevin Stefanski, there's no hesitation. Joe Flacco's a starting quarterback. He knows the playbook. He knows exactly what Kevin wants executed, and he can do it. His problem is throwing to the other team, and as long as he doesn't throw to the other team, he's going to have success. Can we stop rushing quarterbacks out on the field that might not be ready? Everybody, you walk into the coffee shop and there's 50,000 different ways to make a cup of coffee. And that's what we all want. And we all want it now. And we all want it within 30 seconds. I just look at teams that have had success around the NFL over the years. And when they give a quarterback 2 minutes to figure out where the bathroom is and to figure out the playbook and to get to know the guys a little bit, I think your return of success rate is a little bit higher. It's not that I don't want to see Sanders or Gabriel. I do. But I don't need them to go out there. This isn't Troy Aikman going and getting crushed and going, 1-15 in his first season? That's not where we are. Give these guys a little bit of a chance to understand the situation. Keep both of them. And to me, I think the most exciting quarterback on this roster is Shedeur Sanders. He is. He creates excitement. But I just don't think he's ready to be the week one starter coming out of college. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So it's not that I'm not. I just think Joe gives them the best opportunity to win.
I think Kevin's like me, though. He was hoping that one of these guys would show that they're ready to be the guy.
I think you're asking too much out of a rookie, especially guys that the league thought wasn't the number one overall pick or a first round pick. And again, that's nothing against Shedeur. That's nothing against Dillon. But could we just take a deep breath on rookies for a minute, give them a chance to know the league, give them a chance to understand the playbook, and then put them out there so we don't have another DTR? That's what I'm saying. I want to see these guys. Can we give them a second to breathe?
Yeah, I know. Kevin and I had the same thought, and it was just my hope was that one of these guys, and maybe it was Pickett, would have shown that they were ready for this. Clearly, Sanders, clearly Gabriel, in the minds of the coaches, not ready for this yet. And if it means that they get a little bit more time to polish things up in practice, but remember, once you start practicing, what do they say about the backup quarterbacks? He gets no reps. Well, what about the third string quarterbacks? If Pickett's your backup, I don't know how you're going to develop the young guys. That's going to be a challenge. I thought when the two guys played, Shedeur was fun to watch, exciting, and Fred, I agree with you, I thought made some plays and might be that kind of a guy. And that could be great. And then I saw Dillon Gabriel, and it just immediately looked like this guy knew how to run an offense. And he made a big
Kevin's offense in particular.
Yeah.
And I think he's,
looked like he
Daryl was critical
been
of
there,
him at
done
camp
that.
too. Daryl's been extremely critical of him at camp. And, if he's having trouble executing the playbook, then they're giving him the opportunity to cut his teeth with the mistakes in practice. I don't think that they've given Sanders the same latitude based on what we've heard, right?
Everybody who has been out there and watching everything says they're asking Dillon Gabriel to do a lot more in practice than they're asking Shedeur Sanders to do.
Yeah.
That let's just be honest. If that's the case, what does it scream? Either A, the pecking order has Shedeur at the bottom of the list, or B, or both, they don't think he's ready for the same workload that Dillon Gabriel has. And Dillon played 5.5 years of college football. All in Division I, UCF, Oklahoma, Oregon. Jackson State was not the highest level of competition. Shedeur went to Colorado, did a nice job. It's okay where they are right now. It doesn't really matter where they are right now. What kind of matters, Andy, is where they're going to be next year and 2 years, 3 years.
If they come in,
you want to
win,
set them up to succeed long term.
If they can give these guys a chance to come in, if the opportunity arises, again, this is about opportunity too, right? It's like the guy they're going to throw out there the first week of the season, Joe Flacco, is a guy that understands not only how to win but how to lose in the NFL. And so, if he can take care of the football and the Browns win, are we going to be mad? Are we going to, if Flacco beats Cincinnati week 1, are we going to be like, they would have won by 10. They would have won by 20 if they would have started Sanders. That's that's insane. Who cares? You just got to get one more point the other team.
The coaches are looking at everything that happens in practice. They're breaking down everything that happens in practice. Did we ever think that the competition might have been wide open and guys quickly showed that they weren't ready to be in the competition? I mean, can we not admit that? That might be the case because, Andy, the Browns would love to put a dynamic young quarterback on the field who they thought was the best guy of the bunch. They would love that. That's ideal. That's what they want.
I just think it's cute, everyone that thinks that this was going to be a fair competition. I just think it's cute that you think that, because this is business. This is the NFL. There's no such thing as fair. There isn't. And even if the person who's making the decision is making the wrong decision, and we all see maybe perhaps the emperor isn't wearing any clothes, it's still their decision to make. We just sit here as fans on the outside and decide, okay, I'm going to buy a jersey, I'm not going to buy a jersey, I'm going to buy a ticket, I'm not going to buy a ticket. That's your power. That's it. It's all the power the fans have.